I am.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here we go. We'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you had a chance to look at the agenda? I am? Okay, I'm gonna-
Levi Irwin, I make a motion to approve the agenda.
A second step.
It's been moved by Levi Irwin, seconded by Mark Barnes to approve and adopt the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote by roll call.
Levi Irwin, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Finley, aye. The agenda has been approved. Moving to the presentation and approval of the minutes for the regular meeting, February 16th, 2022.
Madam President, I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Levi Irwin, I second.
You move to dispense and
Of
adopt?
reading and adopt.
Okay,
You have two motions on.
okay.
And I move that we adopt the agenda. Or the minutes.
Okay, I think I second.
Okay. It's been moved by Mike Barnes, seconded by Levi Irwin to dispense with the reading of the minutes and adopt the regular meeting minutes for February 16th, 2022. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote by roll call.
Levi Irwin, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Finley, aye. The minutes have been approved. Limited public forum. In just a minute. Sure, let's go. Limited public forum. The Board of Education welcomes public comments during the visitors portion of the school board meeting agenda. All comments must be related to a topic on the agenda for that particular meeting. The public comments section of the agenda will be the only time the board takes any questions or comments from the public unless we as a board choose to solicit more information from a person or group attending the meeting on matters specific to the agenda. All public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The board reserves the right to cancel the public comment portion of the board meeting when necessary or appropriate. Any person making public comments shall be solely responsible for the content of those comments, and the board reserves the right to refuse to hear comments that do not fall within these parameters established by the board. The Board of Education will not comment upon, endorse, sanction, or act upon any comments made during the limited public forum section of the board meeting except to inform a member of the public that their time has concluded. Is there anyone who wants to speak during limited public forum?
That's
Move
it.
on to item number 6, superintendent's report, Mr. Mesa.
Madam President, members of the board, trust me, he wasn't late for the state, title game, so he started to worry me there, but I did want to start my report off by saying, that, the Clayton Yellow Jackets basketball team are the 2021-22 2A basketball state champs. So I asked them to be here tonight to, present them to the board and so forth. And I'd like to, open the floor if, there's anybody that would like to say something from the basketball team, or the coaches.
Ladies? Yes, first of all, ladies, I want to present this out there. Very good. Excuse me. Right? Second one. Yes, first of all, I want to thank the board for hiring me, Mr. Maestas, the committee for hiring me, so all the girls were in the committee. As we all know, we made the right choice. That said, first of all, I want our old district team, which is Akira. Amy. Not here, and alternative, honorable mention was Haiti. So with that said, I would like to present our trophy to the board, ladies. You guys earned it. You guys get it.
Are you willing to give it? Really? You're like,
Hold on, let's get a picture.
I know it's mine.
Put her on, let me get a picture.
Open that banner up when you get up there.
All of you guys. Come on, coach. Get up.
Coach is already over
Did you
there.
want us in there or not? 'Cause I feel
Yes,
like
yeah, stand up, if you guys.
Huh?
That's okay. You don't touch
No,
the
no,
form.
because it presented.
Oh, I forgot. What time is that? 6:30.
That's
Oh.
good.
Your hair looks perfect.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I got bad knees, can't stay like this forever.
Hurry, run, Jesse, hurry.
Oh, I got it. I got bad knees. I heard it already.
There you
There we
go.
go.
You ready? Say Kessel.
Cancel.
Got it.
Yay. Yeah, just have to.
We'll sit it, so we'll find a home for it.
Can you roll up? They also gave us a banner. Did everybody sign for it?
I didn't sign it.
You did it?
Wait, maybe I did, yes I did. Literally your name. Oh,
I don't know.
I'm really proud of you ladies. We accomplished here. We started late. We didn't have a summer program. But, I'm so pleased the way you guys responded to what we brought for you guys. And when Mr. Maestas hired me, he asked me if I was gonna be here. I said, for the long run, I said yes. And I did tell him that we would win the state championship. And then Miss Montoya asked me, we don't want district championships. See those banners there? That's what we want. That's all we want. And I also told her we would get one. It's done. Thank God it was done the first year. Like I said, I'm really proud of all you ladies. There wasn't a lot here also. It was a pretty rough year, with the sense, the way we started, not knowing anything of each other. And sometimes I don't even remember their names. They most of that. But I do know their names, but I forget them sometimes.
But I'm so happy and proud, that like I guess for the hire, you guys and everybody else, and thank you again.
It was so pleasing to see that jacket spirit of never giving up. You girls never gave up, never, no matter what. So, awesome, can't wait to see what the future holds too. And now go get them and cheer. Okay, terrific.
So, Madam President, I'd like to add a little bit here. I am really extremely proud of these ladies because all year long, I made them wear their masks the way they should. And they did. I'm sure some will complain and whatever, but they did what we asked them to do. And it was very important that they did win the state title because my message is that when you do the right thing, good things happen. And you're the result of that. You did it by the book, and a good thing happened. You are the state champs. Can't get better than that. So I love to see one of you guys. Let's take care of business and cheer, okay? We're there for it. Thank you guys.
Thanks all for having me. We appreciate it. You can stay if you wanna be.
Yeah, you can stay.
You don't have to leave, yeah.
I would stay for this.
Thank you, coaches.
Everybody that.
I'm just thinking that. Okay, I'll take
okay,
it.
just-
I know that.
There goes that home.
Would you like, what do you
Now, we still.
coach?
Oh, yes. I shall take good care of it.
And then there's just my
Makes
son.
the manners. We're 4 banners behind, we need to find somebody to.
Madam President, I'll go ahead and continue with my report. Just some updates, COVID-wise, we're doing good. I haven't had any reports of anything at the school. Michelle is finally getting to breathe a little bit, but we still continue to follow the surveillance testing and so forth, of course. But so far so good. The other thing that I need to advise you on is that George and I are getting ready to start the busy time building a budget with what's coming up with the raises and so forth. And so we will be attending the spring budget in April, but we've already started looking at different positions, who's going to level up, who's going to do what, so we can have an idea on what we can do about hiring the people we need. With that in mind, we're also recruiting, hiring Hesper, who's going, Hesper and Ms. Montoya are going to WT, to a job fair there. And I was waiting for George to get back so we can register for the one in Panhandle State. It's due April 16th, I think it is. So we'll register for that one and get somebody there to attend that one, see if we can get some teachers. I have had some other applicants that have applied. We've talked to various applicants for different positions and so forth. So it's not like we don't have people applying, but we could use a lot more. So things are going great. Who's on the finance committee? Is it Mr. Baker and you? So I'd like to see if we can schedule a meeting sometime next week, maybe next Wednesday around 4 or 5, whatever, just so that we can give you guys a rundown of what we're thinking, what are our needs and so forth, so that we can keep you informed from the get-go, and so you understand where we're going with the budget and so forth. So if we can do that next Wednesday, maybe around 5 o'clock, we'll set it up, we'll meet in the conference room, and I'll contact the community people so that we can have a first meeting. Let's see, Power School, we've begun the implementation process. I have access to, I am the project manager, so be careful what you wish for, because then they put you to work for yourself, but that's cool. So we've started that. I've got my account set up so that I can start enrolling for classes, so I can learn how to do things. And what we're gonna do, and the lady there basically mentioned it, we can go ahead and like if I log on to something, we can share it on the screen so the rest of us can see it. And so after we get our ourselves trained, then we're gonna go out and train the others. And so, I'm pretty excited about getting that going. Our goal is to get the power school up and running and ready to go by August first. That's when we've, given notice to IC that we will no longer be using their services. So, it looks like it's a self-paced one, so we can get it done sooner than later. But we're getting that going. Updates on the Learning Center through Mesa Lands. I attended the Joint Communications meeting yesterday. And I did bring that up, that our attorneys are basically saying we need to make sure we have the resolutions from the city and the county first, and then we can do a resolution to see about getting the learning center here in Clayton and so forth. So they did say they would move on that, and once we have those, I'll talk to you guys about a resolution to see if we can get that learning center here as
Is
soon as
that
possible.
the county and the city said they'd move on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, we're just gonna wait on that and we'll be okay. And then, was it yesterday, Hesper?
Yes.
We had, the secretary, I guess, for the pre-K preschool, visit, our school here. While I was at that meeting, Ms. Hyman, was the host here, so they came at 10 o'clock. And so, she's gonna give you a report on what they discussed when she gets to her deal there. And, maintenance projects, what we got going, the safety ramp that we had talked about over at the Yellow Jacket on the boys' side has been done. Angel went ahead and poured it, and it's set and ready to go. So now both sides, there's no drop, and it was a safety issue, we've got it taken care of, so that's pretty good. Baseball field has been prepped and ready to go. We had our first baseball game, yesterday in Mora, and unfortunately, we did have one of our students that got injured and broke his ankle. And so was sent to Las Vegas, to the hospital, to get looked up. So, he's in good spirits, but, yeah, that's not a way to start a season, but we're ready to go here if we need to. Tim has also been working on the access control for the fire alarm systems. That's when, if the fire alarms go off, all the doors around the offices automatically open up. And so he was able to get that taken care of, with a company out of Albuquerque, a fire company, and so that was taken care of. So these things were part of things that we had to do, because of our audit that we had with, I think it was the fire marshal, and then the NMCA guy too, but it's more than the fire marshal. So Tim's already jumped on those and getting them taken care of. Of course, the maintenance crew is getting ready for spring, so they're out cleaning, doing what they can. It's pretty rough to clean in Clayton with these winds that we have, it's crazy. And, but the winds aren't helping us with our other problem that we have a skunk problem. Poor Tim's been crawling into the building, and it seems like that skunk is kinda attracted to Miss Rebecca, cause it's kinda like under her office, her desk, so. But, we have traps, and we're trying to trap the skunk, and I really don't wanna catch it, cause I don't know, I'm not gonna go get it, I mean, sorry.
The sardines didn't work?
I don't know, man, I think he just ate them and took off, I don't know. But it is what it is, so, what can we say? So, just so you'll know, we do have a skunk problem, and Jim is trying to deal with it. We've called, animal control, they've helped us out, but I think the guy's pretty, I think his name's Houdini, as he gets away, but we'll catch him someday.
He made the news.
Right? So transportation, we're looking at, the Student Transportation Bureau did come down and conducted a technical assistance visit, which was an audit of our transportation records, or actually they're coming tomorrow, my bad. And so Ms. Priscilla and Paul already have everything they need, they do that every once in a while. So we shouldn't have any issues that have to be taken care of and so forth. Activity buses, we've been having a lot of issues, we finally got all 3 of them back. And yesterday we had our first softball game, and the bus broke down there about 2 miles out of Narvaeza, so Paul had to go get them. It appears that it had, one of the hoses busted, had antifreeze everywhere, so we left it there, and we have Deasons that's going to go look at it to see about getting it fixed, because we do have some major activities that are coming up, and so we're doing what we can. If it's that we don't have bus drivers, then we don't have buses. So when we have bus drivers, we don't have buses. When we have buses, we don't have bus drivers. So But we're limping through everything, and I think, we're gonna be fine, but in a nutshell, that's my board report. If there's any questions, I'd like to have.
I have a question, more like maybe a request. When you were talking about facilities, I noticed coming out of Huff Gym at night, when you know where, like where Mr. Funk and everybody parks on the side?
Oh, you're talking Yellow Jacket, Jim?
Yes, did I say Huff? I'm sorry, Yellow Jacket. It is so dark over there, and there's streetlights, but you don't even realize there's streetlights over there.
We're already working on trying to get some, maybe, the sensor lights, the ones that are, motion
Yeah.
lights. And so Tim and I have been, we did talk to the electric company to see if they could adjust like the one that's way out there. And if it's still to the point where it's not, we don't get any light there, we're looking at hopefully trying to install some of those sensor lights, in between that walkway where you walk up to the gym and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's a long walk when you can't see.
yeah, so, yeah, we've
And then there's
been,
the ledge.
we've been trying to, see what our best options are with
Okay,
that, so
great.
we already have it on our
Good to know.
radar.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything for Mr. Muska?
If not, then we'll go ahead and move over to, Mrs. Hyman with her report.
Good evening, Madam President and school board members. The Alvis enrollment for pre-K through 4th is at 139 in the building with 3 students online. That brings our total to 142. We had 1 new enrollment this week. So, at the end of our third 9 weeks, we did an iReady diagnostic testing of our students, and they are continuing to show improvement in both reading and math. So to give you kind of an overview of Alvis as a whole, we improved from 45% that are at or above grade level to 53%, and this is in reading. 36% of students are 1 grade below, compared to a previous of 42%, and 11% from 13% that were 2 or more. In math, we went from 30% being 1 grade level or being at grade level or above to 41%. And then we went from 42% to 56% being 1 grade level behind, and from, let's see, I didn't get the last part, from 13% to 12%. So we're making gains across the board. As Mr. Maestas said, the New Mexico pre-K was here yesterday. So the New Mexico pre-K is moving from the Public Education Department to the Early Childhood Education and Development, Early Childhood Education and Care Department, or ECECD. So yeah, big mouthful. And I had the chance to meet with the representatives from ECECD yesterday. We were able to have a really frank and open conversation about what the pre-K needs are here in Clayton and how they might differ from those in such places as Santa Fe, Albuquerque. They toured the school, our pre-K department, and they were very interested in our daycare because ECECD, they cover birth through 5 years. So they are actually who we can go through to help us with licensing our daycare. So I'm going to be working with them on licensing our daycare, as well as they talked about being able to help with daycare costs for teachers and for if we have students that have their kids that come to daycare. Helping us to get funding to make any fixes and stuff to the portable. I showed them where we're going to put the daycare. So they said there is funding for all those sorts of things, and that they gave me their little cards, and I held on to them in my little hand, and I will keep them, and we will get that rolling and stuff. And so I'm excited. So there was additional funding there, and then we talked about, keeping early childhood educators in New Mexico and why we're losing those early childhood educators, or what our feelings are. They got to talk to Ms. Patel, who is our pre-K. They were very impressed with her classroom. We got to go in there and the kids were amazing. got them all in there playing and everything, so it was a good day. So, we're gonna be moving forward with what pre-K is gonna look like next year for us here in Clayton and how that's going to transition, and then getting the daycare license. Really in April, we're gonna start planning all of our end of the year activities. It's coming up fast and furious. So as those activities become more concrete, we'll share those through class newsletters and social media. Luckily this year, we get to have class trips, and we get to have our fun in the Sunday, and we're going to have a form of a track meet with our 3rd and 4th grade, so we're excited to kind of get back to the regularly scheduled program this year. Do you have any questions?
That's great.
Thank you.
Lots to look forward to. Any questions? Mr. Fun?
Okay, Madam President and School Board, thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak to you all tonight. We did have 3 new enrollees this week, so we do have a total now of 111. We have 55 in Kaiser and 56 at junior high. So, I think it's always good when people want to come to your school, even if it's in the month of March. So, we just finished our Scholastic Book Fair. Mrs. Massey was in charge of that. Our goal was $1,000. We raised $1,120.39. So, we rocked it. Did a good job. We just had 2 teachers complete their dossiers, which means they will go to another level. Lynette Jacobs and Sharina Bickle. Mrs. Hyman helped me today. We pushed one of those through in the ped, and we're gonna get the other one done tomorrow. Track is underway. I can't believe we're talking track already in baseball, but we have 4 junior high meets right now. We're going to Boise City on March 22nd, Cimarron on the 28th of March, West Las Vegas April 6th, and Turpin, Oklahoma on April 18th. That's my old stomping ground, so I want to go there and stomp some ground. So, yeah, our iReady diagnostics we're finishing up, so I'll have results of that for you. Kaiser track meet will be May 12th. It's a Thursday, and our 8th grade graduation will be May 26th. And I want to introduce my son, Brandon. We haven't seen each other in 2 years because of COVID. So he drove here from Edmond, Oklahoma City tonight, and so he's going to hang out with Dad this weekend.
Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Montoya?
Madam President and School Board, our enrollment is at 129 today. We got a new student. And we have 6 students in Reba. So you have your graphs there with our Q3 data. 16% of all of our students are failing 1 or more classes. And the breakdown on that is 33% of freshmen, 13% of sophomores, 6% of juniors, and 6% of seniors. And 3% is about 1 person. But 80, so doing it, that was the pessimistic way, right? Okay, so the optimistic way, 84% of all students are passing all classes. Our goal is 85% on our 90-day plan, and right now we're at 85% of all students, and that counts the kids that are in Riva also. But if we just count the kids that are in person, 87% of them are passing all of their classes. 50% of the Riva students are passing all of their classes at this time. We did have 6 students that were not passing in Riva come back to in-person learning, and 2 out of those 6 are passing all of their classes. And several of them are just having trouble with maybe 1 class. And that's tough, because if they didn't do anything in Riva, they were missing some skills. So the teachers have been working really hard at 7:45 in the morning during zero period to get those kids back where they need to be. And we are lucky that, I've got teachers that are certified in several different things. So, the freshmen, their teachers, of course, aren't here during zero period. So their Algebra 1 teacher and their Biology 1 teachers aren't here. So our other teachers, our other math teachers are working with kids, with them to get them back where they need to be. So we really appreciate that. So whenever we look at in-person passing by subject, 94% of the kids are passing their math classes. 100% of the kids are passing their English classes. 96% of the kids are passing their science classes, and 96% are passing history classes. And then the others are others. So I didn't put the other on there. Spanish, I think we had one student in Spanish, so it'd be 97%. And we'll have our honor roll awards on Monday during seventh period. Any questions on the high school?
And you may not know this, but prior to COVID, was this kind of the same percentage of fail rate in classes, or is it a little higher than it would have been? Or really don't have an idea?
Yeah, I don't know, because I came during COVID.
Right.
So, we did finish the year last year at 86% of all kids passing their classes.
What
So-
about where you came from? I mean, just on average, is it normal to have about 1 or 2% not making it through classes? That's kind of the rough.
Unfortunately.
One child.
Unfortunately, it's probably even lower than that, it's probably more like 25%.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
that's- Thank you. Sorry.
I would guess. What do you, yeah?
That's what I would say.
So moving on to athletics, I want to thank you all for your support throughout the year. We appreciate you, John, keeping that clock for the games, and all of you guys that were in attendance, and everybody that went to the state game. That was amazing. I think the whole town, it felt like the whole town was there, and it was just amazing. You see those, you watch those big teams play, and you hear the crowd roar. And there we were, a little team with that crowd roaring. It was just amazing. So thank you guys so much for your support. We're excited about the cheerleaders. They will have their send-off at 8:30 tomorrow. They will compete, like you heard, at 8:05 and 9:50. So that 8:05 is pretty early. But it will be streamed on NFHS. So if you still have your March subscription, you gotta pay for the whole month, then you can watch that. And then, like Coach Funk was saying, we've moved on to softball, baseball, and track. Today was just a beautiful day. I thought, I don't ever remember having a track practice in a day as beautiful as today, and then it's gonna snow tomorrow. So, and then the girls, right, for track meet, the girls softball team plays in the Santa Rosa tournament this weekend. So any questions on athletics? In FFA, we will have a competition in Roswell on Saturday, and they will go to district in Portales on Tuesday and Wednesday, 22nd and 23rd. And then, of course, Mr. Barnes knows all about that. Performing arts, the performing arts class, I told you guys we're working on Cinderella, and they will perform that on April 28th and April 29th. And our student council president is upstairs playing esports. They are still undefeated, you guys. So they actually, our Smash Brothers team actually has a chance to win the state in esports.
Another state championship.
But we will be having elections for officers in April. So that process will start in April, where kids start running for office, for student council offices. Any questions for me?
Right, you're always so spirited. I like what all of you all are. I love it. Great attitudes, yes.
Well, and unfortunately, he was talking about one of our players that did break his ankle, and but he's on the esports team, so that won't affect him. So he still has a chance to be a state champ in esports, right? So the good news there.
Good, that might help his recovery.
Yeah, and he is so positive. He'll be great.
Madam President, if I could add a couple of things. Last week, when our girls took off to Albuquerque, we went ahead and canceled school on Friday. And we're gonna go ahead and make that up in April. And so now that, I thought it was only right that, because we're going to stay with the cheerleaders, that we do the same for them. They're actually going for the third straight title. And so we will be off this Friday. We'll make it up in May. We have 3 Fridays that we had scheduled off, so we'll swap them around. But I do think that it's very important that we recognize all our kids equally. So, you know, just a heads up that I'm sure you already know because we sent out the letter. But that's the thinking about it, is that we have to support our kids as much as we can, and we have to be fair about it. And so I think it was a good move. And I wasn't planning to travel to Albuquerque anytime soon, but I guess I'm going on Thursday night, so, but it's all good. One thing I did forget that I didn't put on my board that's somewhat important is this deal of the LTP, the Extended Learning School Year. There's 4 options actually. We did the one with the 10 extra days. Then there's the K5 plus, which is an additional 25 days. And then there's another one that they call the K12 plus. That would be for the entire school, another 20 days. And when I talked to I went and attended a meeting up in Taos, and I talked to the secretary, and they made it sound like it was gonna be something that we could do within the hours, because the bottom line is our staff is tired, and we don't wanna go 190-day calendar. We wanna go 180-day calendar and take fall vacation, take holidays off, and have a spring break and all that good stuff. So, those are the 3 options, and the 4th option is that we just choose not to do it. So we took it to the staff, and we talked to them, you know, in the buildings and so forth, and it was a consensus that we're just not gonna do ELTP this year. Now, what's the downfall of that? The only thing, it's not a requirement, so they can't come back at us. The only downfall is that there would have been an additional 3% raise on top of that, and we told staff, you know, by turning it down, we're turning down an additional 3% to the 7%, to get that done, and that one would have come after they leveled up. But the staff is to the point where they just don't wanna do no more days. And I think one of the staff members put it best, they said, we're not the only ones tired, so are the students. And so, just so you guys know that, we did take it to our staff, and the staff members decided against doing extended school year. And we have a pretty good calendar that we're presenting to you guys when the time comes, so that, you know, we can stick to a traditional 180 calendar, and we're good to go, and plenty of vacations and days off, so that people can, you know, recuperate and get at it again. So, but that is something that has to be addressed, and so that's our stance on it. So,
And the calendar will be approved next month, right?
I believe so, yeah. Well, we gotta get it done along with the budget, so it might, yeah, I think it is next.
I think it is in April.
In April, because we don't go to the budget, spring budget till after the board meeting. But that's when we work on the calendar, so, I mean, on the budget itself, so. But, I'll check it out to see when it was approved on the end as well. So, but that's it for us.
Well, thank you all. Thank you very much. Moving to board communications, there's really nothing under board communications. I just wanted to, Mr. Baker's not here, just extend our condolences to his family. He lost his mother-in-law, Ida Mira. So, did you all have anything under board communications or anyone for us? Okay, financial matters, consideration and approval of financial reports.
Okay, Madam President and board members, we'll start off with our financial statement. If you notice, the very first page in the packet, I tried to label them 1 through 15, I think it was easier for me to go through and have all those in case you had questions. But the number 1 page really tells all about a glance at our finances right now. If you'll notice, the investment account has a balance of $74,260.50, which is very good. It goes up a little bit every month with that interest. That's the only thing that goes in there is the interest payment. Student activity account's doing very well. I think they kind of about spent and put as much back in it as they balanced out again, which I love. So kept their balance at $136,321.33. The athletic account is very good too right now. It's at $35,968.09. And then we go to our operational, and right now, the operational at the end of February was $3,279,985.04. And you'll notice, you know, and I see that's another mistake, but it should be, the SEG payment was $444,657.25, because it went up a little bit when they adjusted. So till the end of the year, we're gonna get that amount. Every 10th of every month, we get that deposit in our bank account. And of course, I always like to show you, where our big checks went. Of course, in February, we had our big payment, for our New Mexico Finance Authority, and that total for our bonds there, $504,971.42. They did scare me, because they sent me another statement saying we owed another $488 in March 15th. I go, no, we only pay really January, February, and then we make our next payment in July. That's what it's always been. You make the payments, that's when you make them. So they said, oh, the bank made a mistake by sending out those statements. So thank goodness you got that straightened out, because it made me nervous, of course. So that's what our balances of all of our accounts are right now. If you have any question on any of those accounts, please ask.
Any questions?
I move to approve the financial report.
Levi Irwin, a second.
It's been moved by Mike Barnes, seconded by Levi Irwin to approve the financial report. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote by roll call.
Levi Irwin, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Kim Leal, aye. The financial report has been approved. Moving to consideration and approval of bars and transfers.
Okay, in this board meeting, we do have 4 bars and 1 transfer. And we'll start off with the first bar, the 31703, that's the state, SB 9 state match of cash of what I turned in. They gave us back $15,552. So we're trying to approve that tonight. You see that, and that goes back into our maintenance and repairs and grounds. Is where that, if you look at that first one, that's where the money goes, for maintenance and repairs and buildings and equipment. Then, the next bar is the 27101, which I think Mr. Myson made fun of me, but it's some leftover money, and it's $413, and we'll get every penny of it. Every penny, because I'm not leaving a penny there. I'm sorry, I just get all upset. I'm not gonna leave any money that we can have is coming to Clayton. So this is a library GOB fund, yes. This is the GO, and it's for $413, we can find something to that for the kids. I know we can, so I know it's just $413, but I put in for it, and we're gonna get that money. Then our next one, now this is something that was very interesting, because I think Mr. Mice gave you a call about that. They emailed us and said, we've got this money, you gotta do it today. I said, well, we haven't taken it to the board. They had found out, PAD had all this money that they were supposed to distribute months ago, and they didn't. So they had to get out of their account. And it's a 1% ERB contribution, so, and it's for instruction. So we put it in our regular education K through 12 program, but they've already deposited $38,000, $479 in our account already. So as soon as Mr. Mice and I clicked on it, I went in there and said, hey, the money's in our account. I've never seen it that fast, because usually we wait
Tax
6 to 9 weeks.
Get rid of it.
They had to get rid of it because they should have got rid of it a lot earlier.
They should.
And they finally the lady goes, I'm sorry, but it was our fault. Because I said, I've never seen this, but, so that's what that's for. And that will go in our K through 12 program. And then our next one was our 27153, and that was an extended learning transportation. And that was for $5,038 that we got, and I put it into general supplies and materials, but it looks like we probably need to move it to diesel, since that is up. So this is a good timing of get $5,030, because our diesel bills are going up. So it's nice to get this money, and so we'll be doing that right there. So that's those bars. That will be transferred now too. Okay. Now on the transfer, it's our entitlement. I'm sorry. And I'm wearing my mask because I've been jet setting, been around all these people. I don't want to give anything to anybody because you get all of it.
That's my
So, because I've been around hundreds of people on those airplanes, that's another story for another time. But the 24106 is our entitlement money, And I needed to move, we had quite a bit of money in our salary expense, but we needed it under our, special programs and supplies and things like that. So I took 2,500, if you'll notice, it's 2,500 and distributed that to those other accounts. So that's how that transfer is taking place, we're taking it out.
And it disappeared, well, I don't know if somebody erased that up there, did you see that, on this page?
This page,
The
this,
amount, yeah.
Yeah, the amount
oh, really?
went away, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm following you. I
Okay.
just wanted you to know.
But that's what it was, we just took 2,500 out of the salary expenses and moved it down to our supplies in areas that we already had spent. But I knew by looking at that, we had quite a bit in the salaries that we're not gonna be using. That was very good. So those are the, 4 bars and 1 transfer for this month.
Great. Any questions?
I just wanna make a statement that this is way easier to look at than each one of those little things that we used to get, so thank you.
Well, me
This is
too.
so much more understanding.
I had to do it for myself too.
Well, I love this page too,
Yeah, this was
because,
much easier for us to keep.
That way you can go back and check where the money was spent, the checks, you go back, I have all, and I numbered them. I think, because I work with Rebecca, and we try to make it, I try to make it simple, so when she does the board books, I just wanna make it simple, and
it looks.
that's why I try to
and
do
you
it.
did, thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Madam President, I move to approve the bars and transfers.
Steve Iron, I second.
It's been moved by Mike Barnes, oops, wait. It's been moved by Mike Barnes, seconded by Levi Erwin to approve the bars and transfers. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll call.
Steve Iron, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Kimberly L. I, the bars and transfers have been approved. Moving to action items. A, consideration and approval of resolution authorizing issuance of individual procurement card. This is the so-called, was gonna be a debit credit card.
But it's a P card now.
P
So
card.
Madam President, George was able to, get us a resolution on what it would look like. To get us a P card, and it's like a credit card, but we're able to, reserve rooms and so forth, but how does it, you can't just go and start charging things to it. You kinda have to, have.
We have to turn it on and turn it off. And I didn't realize, I was at the big business meeting and I was talking about trying to get a credit card, because credit cards aren't allowed in New Mexico, but there's a few schools that have them. And I was supposed to, the P cards are because they're safer to use. I really like that. Because they have to have a PO where you can use it, I have to approve it, and he had, so it's really a much safer, and the government they really push this
Okay.
for any government. So it's a MasterCard, they call it a P card. And, so it's gonna be very good, you can see what happens, because it dings me, it dings him, anytime it ever happens.
That's what we use with the university.
Oh, is it? I love it, that's great. And it's safer,
Yeah.
that's what I like,
Great.
has a lot of
More,
rules.
yeah, good. So basically, what we had approved before.
Steve Iron, I make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing issuance of the P card.
I second that motion.
It's been moved by Levi Erwin, seconded by Mike Barnes to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance of the individual P card. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. By roll call.
Steve Iron, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Kimberly L. I, the resolution authorizing issuance of individual P card has been approved. Right, moving to B, consideration and approval of living design quote of $36,486.66 to create the facility master plan, which is a lot less than what we thought it was going to be.
Madam President, members of the board, the process was that I was supposed to reach out to 3 different companies that, the PSFA, provided for me. I reached out to 3 of them, 2 of them replied, 1 didn't. Because our estimate was under $60,000, all I had to do is, even if I just got 1 back, I could go with that one. But I did get 2 of them back. One was from one ARC that had already done it for us, they're out of Albuquerque. They quoted us over $60,000 for this. Living Designs is out of Taos, and he emailed me and asked me, well, what portion of so-and-so is gonna, PSFA, what are they paying and what are you paying? And so I gave him the numbers and he matched those numbers. And so it came out to the 36, what was it?
486.
Yeah, 36,486, so, that's what I'm asking the board if you would, I would recommend that you approve this so that we can, I have the contract and all, I just gotta get approval so I can sign it so we can get that started. And unfortunately, it's in statute and we have to do it. I mean, I think, I have better ways to spend $36,000, but it is what it is, and, you know, it does, it'll provide us some good information that we need to see what we need to do, to make sure we keep our, facilities up and going and so forth. So,
It's quite a big difference in
oh, yeah.
cost.
Yes.
That's great.
I just have a question, did you have any references or anybody else that's using him, the living design?
Yeah, Taos is, using them right now. I did talk to Lydian, superintendent, she said that they're pretty loud.
Thank you.
And I've worked with them in Cuesta, when, they were doing, I can't remember what it was that we were doing in Cuesta, they were the architects that did it there. And so I know Mr. Patterson, I know, Israel Padilla, and so I've known them as pretty, you know, reasonable and they're pretty, you know, they take pride in the work that they do, so I think we're gonna get a good deal.
Thank you. So Levi Irwin, I make a motion to approve the living design quote to create the facility master plan.
I second that.
It's been moved by Levi Irwin, seconded by Mike Barnes to approve the living design quote to create facility master plan. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Levi Irwin, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Kim Gal, aye. The living design quote of $36,486.66 to create facility master plan has been approved. Moving to C, on action items, consideration approval of AK sales quote of $664,602.86 for repairs to track at Huff Stadium.
Madam President, I did research this, based on the amount that, we're gonna be spending here on, whether we needed to bid it out and so forth, but because AK Sales is a, CES vendor, our attorney and I talked to CES and all them, and we can go ahead and go with, AK Sales as, based on that, and so with that, they have quoted us the amount of $664,602.86 to completely overhaul the track. That's pulling everything out, laying the foundation, the whatever we need, so it's solid, and it does come with a warranty, and, they're saying it should last 25 years and so forth, so, they're also gonna be, doing some repairs to the high jump area there too. They wanted to do, some other things, so this quote might actually, the cost might actually be a little less than what they wanted to do, because they wanted to do some things like move everything into the infield, and we basically told them, we really don't need that, but let's just look at it that way and see what we have. And there's some repairs that need to happen to the long jump, and so all that's included here, and so I think that, you know, being that we're gonna be using SB 9 monies, we need to use it in areas where the community can see where the taxpayer money's going, their taxes and so forth, so I think that we need it, because we need to get our, now that we're, hopefully through COVID, we need to get our Yellow Jacket, was it Revenue Relays back?
Yes.
And so we can start hosting, a track meet here and enjoy life, you know, so that is my recommendation on this bid here.
And this was the best quote? I mean, was this the only quote?
This is the only guys I talked to, because these were the original, individuals that were supposed to do it, and I guess then they brought in Lone Mountain, and they cut back on, they basically didn't resurface, I mean, they didn't do the foundation the way they should, and so that's the reason that it's, you know, ringing up and so forth. And, I'll be very truthful, I do have the confidence, the utmost confidence in AK Sales in taking care of us. They're the ones that, did our bleachers at the hub. We order all our stuff that we, you know, we need for athletics from them. And so, I mean, I would rather go with someone I can trust and know than someone that you just don't know what you're getting. And so, I think Jose, with AK Sales has always done a really good job to make sure we get the best for our money. And so, the goal is to hopefully get this started as soon as track season's over the summertime, so we can have it ready for next year. And it will be black, red, white lines, orange numbers, kinda like your old track maybe if you have them, but this is yellow jacket orange.
I can't really tell the difference, actually.
Oh, we can.
We can
We
now.
We can.
How much money's gonna be left in SB funds?
I got it right here. Right now, at this moment, we have 1,165,765.62, so it's about half of that we left. So we still have a pretty healthy SB9 local, which is very good. So that's what we'll have.
And that includes the 36,000 for the facility master plan and the track. So it's a little over $400 and some thousand that will still be left.
Thank you.
You did? I just wanted to have it there.
Madam President, I move that we approve the AK sales quote for repairs to the track.
Levi Irwin, I second.
It's been moved by Mike Barnes, seconded by Levi Irwin to approve AK sales quote for repairs to track at Huff Stadium. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll call.
Levi Irwin, aye.
Mike Barnes, aye.
Kim Leal, aye. AK sales quote of $664,602.86 for repairs to the track at Huff Stadium has been approved. Moving to items suggested for future meetings.
Madam President, we do have to look at the agreement between us and the Logan schools for the kids that are attending school there. Superintendent Ross sent me a little late, so I told him that either we'd have to do it through a special meeting, or if we could wait, we could do it the next board meeting, and then once you guys approve it, we get everything signed, I'll go ahead and send it to the Fed, so it's there. So that's one thing we do have to have for next year, for next board meeting.
Calendar probably, right?
And the calendar would be another.
What about the, on the audit committee, we took all of the stuff off of that long list, I can't remember, I'm sorry, what it's called. All the things less than 5,000, but did we ever finish the second part of that, the things that are over 5,000 that we can?
I don't think we have, and so we gotta reach out to the auditors, cause they were looking at that too.
They were.
I can't remember now,
It's what was it called, Rebecca?
no.
Fixed assets?
Fixed
Yeah,
assets.
We're trying to forget it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sorry, I
Okay, I'll
think
make
we've
it.
got to.
But yeah, we need to finalize it, you're right, we gotta get that taken care of. So maybe, a discussion on that. I'll get some information on it by the next board meeting, and I'll have something for you guys.
Thank you.
Glad you remembered that. Okay, and if you guys think of anything else, you know to contact me. Okay. Item 11, executive session.
Madam President, before you guys move, is it okay if I dismiss these guys to go and
Absolutely.
rest up, and I don't need to be here to the groove?
No.
So,
Stand.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
you.
Have a good evening.
Y'all too.
Enjoy your visit.
Enjoy the 2 foot of snow coming on.
leave the meeting.
We will.
She wanna get out of here quick.
I would take.
I didn't even click out of the meeting, I just shut my computer.
Thank you all.
Get some rest.
Sure. Residents of Oklahoma State, are following
So let's go ahead, since that's running, let's go.
We got a motion to.
Oh, yes.
Levi Irwin, I'll make a motion to move into executive session.
A second.
It's been moved by Levi Irwin, seconded by Mike Barnes to move into executive session. We do have to have roll call. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote by roll call.
Levi Irwin, aye.
executive session to discuss personnel matters, possible amendment to